Well, look, a lot of what the government said was that the Yellowhammer leaked report was based on worst-case scenarios. So they tried to reassure the public that it was on the basis of the worst-case scenarios drawn up by the government itself. But that really is a red herring of an answer, because the issue is not whether what was leaked was based on worst-case scenarios. The issue is whether the government is ready, whether they've made Gibraltar ready to deal with Brexit. And our concerns are that it's not just the worst case scenarios were reported. You have a report about an assessment in the Sunday Times that says that the government of Gibraltar has not put in place certain measures, that it's not ready for certain events, and that raises concerns in the context of there have been a number of legal notices on no deal Brexit. They have been, of course, helpful, but there haven't been notices for months. They don't deal with all issues, and the public is entitled to be reassured on whether the government is ready, and not simply whether the worst case scenarios have been published.
The Chief Minister explained to GBC that he'd taken his foot off the accelerator in preparations for a no-deal Brexit because Theresa May, the then Prime Minister, had indicated at that time that she would be looking for an extension at the end of March. Don't you buy into that?
Well, I don't buy it for this reason, that it's clear from the press that the leaked Yellowhammer report is said to be only a month old. Now, the resignation and the standing down of Theresa May had been on the cards for months on end. There's been an intervening Conservative Party election. The arrival of Boris Johnson is a month old, but way before that we knew that what was emerging in the Conservative Party leadership election would be a candidate or a leader that would advocate a possibility of a no-deal Brexit. And therefore, to have lulled yourself into that false sense of security when there was no real guarantee or security of a definite extension or a definite agreement, well, that, in my view, is poor planning by the government. It should have been continued to ramp it up. In the UK, they've ramped up the resources tremendously. They should be doing so in Gibraltar as well. And the reassurances that the government attempted the other day was simply do not go far enough to the public in demonstrating that the government has made Gibraltar ready for a no-deal Brexit.
You quote an article in the Times in which the Attorney General Michael Yammer says that the Gibraltar government is looking to strike a new agreement with Spain to help with flows across the frontier in the case of a no-deal Brexit. But you've poured scorn on that. Wouldn't you agree that it's something to be welcomed?
Well, we haven't poured scorn on it. What we've said is that we want to know whether indeed the government is intending to strike a new agreement, because there is a stark contradiction between, in the same press statement that the government issued the other day, the Chief Minister reassured the public in Gibraltar that they had dealt with all issues in relation to freedom of movement at the border, for example. And yet you've got an article on Sunday, appearing on Sunday, quoting the Attorney General saying that the government want to strike a new agreement with Spain in relation to, obviously, frontier flows. Now, the public are entitled to know whether the government are in negotiations with Spain, what they intend to agree, and what that agreement will contain. The public are entitled to know, and we're calling on the government to make it clear whether or not they are in negotiations or contemplate entering into a new agreement with Spain.
In terms of preparation for a no-deal Brexit, what information would you, the opposition, like to be in possession of?
Well, look, through the Select Committee on Brexit, the members of the GSD who sit on that committee have repeatedly requested sight of the reports that the government say that they've been doing, or the work that they've been doing behind the scenes. We've received some informal briefings, but we have never had sight of any of the documents that are being prepared. Chief Minister the other day in his interview with you said that the Yellowhammer reports were monthly and now weekly. It's important in the run-up to this election that they share those Yellowhammer reports with the opposition, so that we are all singing from the same hymn sheet, so that we are all clear about whether Gibraltar is ready, so that we can provide our input, and so that the opposition in the public interest are fully informed.